Okay, so the next session is now about the integration of CI Hub. And I hope now another colleague or another colleague is joining, because this session will also be done with Andreas from CI Hub. And there he is. Hello, Andreas.
Hello.
Good, it worked. I saw you had some
That's great.
problems.
Yeah, I've followed the recommendation to use a Google Chrome, and now everything is wonderful.
Yeah, it's an important one in this case.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, welcome, Andreas. In this session, we will give you some insights into the CI Hub integration.
Mm-hmm.
One thing in advance: if I say now products app integration, please be patient with me. I always mean now CI Hub integration, or most of the times. We will split this up in 2 sessions or 2 parts. I quickly give you one more a bit insights into the Pimcore integration, the Pimcore side, and then I'll hand over to Andreas, and he is happy to show you all the CI Hub stuff.
Yeah,
I mean it right, CI Hub, yes, yep. And also is happy to answer all your questions.
Absolutely.
As we do this. Okay, yeah, starting with Pimcore side, I think you get already all the basic schema. Again, we have the challenge of flattening out the data, the multidimensional data in Pimcore to a bit more flattened schema, and this we do with this data hub configuration for CI Hub. I don't go now into all the details here. Let's maybe share my screen once more. In terms of the configuration. So can you see my, I need to click share, there it is. So you should be able to see my screen now. And yeah, I won't discuss all the configuration in detail anymore, because we did this already today a couple of times. I just highlight a few specials that are coming with the CI Hub integration. And the first special there is that in terms of the data object classes, we cannot just choose one, but we can choose multiple data object classes and define a schema for each of them. And so we can expose different data entities to CI Hub, which then can be used in your documents wherever you like them. And in terms of the assets, we also have a bit more possibilities compared to products app in this case. We, first of all, can also allow to really navigating through the asset tree. So not just navigating through the data object tree, but also through the asset tree. And then we also can specify for the assets if we want to deliver the original ones, and if we want to also can deliver certain thumbnails that are generated on Pimcore side and then delivered to CI Hub, and then can be used in all the applications there. In terms of the workspaces, there we also have one more addition which we can configure here, which is that we can deliberately exclude certain folders. So again, the workspaces are refined based on any folders, and in this case you also can really exclude a certain subfolder. For the CI Hub integration, this comes especially handy when you, for example, create a separate endpoint for some creative agency who is using CI Hub. Then this creative agency can connect to your Pimcore system via CI Hub, and you really can define exactly what folders should be accessible to them, and also, of course, what folders should not accessible to them. Then the next step here is something more special for the CI Hub integration, and this allows you to define all the labels of all the data attributes that are exposed to CI Hub. So this just gives you the possibility to give some nice names to all the labels, so that you have in CI Hub the nice names, and also your partners that are using CI Hub, and maybe then, as the agency I mentioned before, doesn't know what your internal data attribute names mean to them, so that they have really nice names to this integration. One more sentence is important to this screen here, and this is, again, similar to a products app. We cache the data before we deliver it to CI Hub. In this case, we don't cache it into a simple table. In this case, we cache it to Elasticsearch, and all the filtering and all the searching that is done on CI Hub is then done against the Elasticsearch in this case. And so we, of course, also need to index the data into Elasticsearch. This is done again in an asynchronous way by processing an update queue. So every time a data object is updated, it's added to a queue, and then the commands that are running in the background processing this queue and keep the index up to date. And you also have information about the queue status here, so where you see how many items are in the queue and need to be processed to be the queue have up to date. Why I'm telling you this, it's important to know that this list of the possible fields, attribute fields, is not pre-calculated based on the schema definition and the workspaces. It's really a calculated based on the attributes that are really actually in Elasticsearch, because we don't, for example, know all the meta attributes that are assigned to any assets. And so we really need to do that live. And so this list here also will be populated as the queue is processed and the data is populated into Elasticsearch. Just a technical detail here. And then there's one more thing here at this screen, which is important. You can define the labels, and in addition to that, you also can define which attributes should be able to be filtered on CI Hub side. So there, with this checkbox, you define which data attributes you want to be able to filter on CI Hub side. And yeah, you of course can exclude them that doesn't make any sense to be filtered. That said, yeah, the delivery settings are quite simple here. You just define a token, which then you also, again, have to define at CI Hub side to log in into the Pimcore and connect Pimcore with CI Hub. You save the configuration, the process queue in the background is then processed, and then Pimcore is ready for CI Hub, and CI Hub can access the data on Pimcore. And that's also already the point where I will hand over to Andreas and stop sharing my screen. And Andreas, you can now share your screen, and yeah, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. So let me share my screen here, and let me move on my...
I always love that picture.
So, there is my Indesign.
Cool.
I now don't see the questions anymore.
Yeah,
but
Andreas,
I would assume...
I also will have a look at the questions. And
okay, that's perfect. Great. So we are here in Indesign. I do hope that most of you are familiar with Indesign. Everything what I show you here would work exactly the same way in InDesign, in Photoshop, in Illustrator, in Premiere Pro, in InCopy, and in After Effects. And the great thing on that is I show you how we work with links and relinking, and that's really working across the whole Adobe suite, and that's really a cool feature for most of the agency users wanting to have the access to the latest information and assets. That's really, really cool. So
Andreas, we just get the feedback that your voice is not so good. So maybe can you speak a bit louder, or try to speak a bit louder?
I can do that, and I can also enhance my microphone a little bit. Is it better now? Can I... a bit better?
A bit, yes.
Okay. Okay, let me... Okay, just speak louder. I would assume that...
That would be great, yeah.
Is there... oh, there is the configuration. Just to give me... ah, yeah, okay, I know.
Oh dear, now he got kicked out. Let's hope he's joining us in right away. So yeah, it doesn't help us if the sound is good now, but he is not here anymore. Let's hope he's joining right away. Oh, there it is.
I send it a request, and now the voice should be better.
Yeah, much better. Thank you, Andreas.
That's great. Okay, good. Then let me share my screen again. It's all live. This is why we have all of these. And now you see my screen again, right?
Perfect.
Good. And in the meantime, I switched to my English version of the plugin, and yeah, I've had that in the first session, very short. It's very simple to set up the connection. If you want to connect to the Pimcore system, the only thing you need to do is go to Connections, click on the plus button, select the Pimcore system, and then it will open a web browser. And within the web browser, you need to enter the token you've just configured on the other side. That was my token. And then if you click OK, you get a successful information, and you're added to you added Pimcore to your connections. Very simple, very fast. So if you have done that, you can start navigating through your Pimcore system. You immediately see the folder structure and the types. So you can go into your assets. You can go back. You can go into your objects. If we go into an object, you will see a list of all the objects. And then if you double click on it, you see the details of the object. So you get your basic informations and you get your details. And if there are assets attached to it, you would see the images here. You can scroll through the different ones. So it's very easy to navigate. And let me open an InDesign file here. There it is. Yeah, I have an empty InDesign file now. Now I can just drag and drop that image into my InDesign. And in the same way I can drag and drop the image, I can also drag and drop my metadata to it. And that metadata will then also be, that's now, there is my metadata. So you just drag and drop all the assets from the Pimcore system into the document. In InDesign, you drag it into a frame. If you're in Photoshop, you would drag it onto a layer. So whatever is the relevant functionality for the product, it will automatically adjust to that. If we would have an Premiere Pro open, you could just add that file, that image, or a video asset to the timeline. Very simple. This is how we navigate through objects. Let me go back to assets. Let me go to the amazing cars, and I like that Lamborghini. And then you see all the different assets. I just double click on the green one, and here you see all the metadata you have defined in the connector on the Pimcore side. They will automatically show up in that custom area. And again, here we can double click on that. If there would be versions of that asset, we would see these versions and could scroll through the versions and could then decide on which version we would like to use within our InDesign here. And if you are looking for a similar image and you have created a connection to a stock system or any kind of system that supports similarity search, I'm connected to an Adobe stock and a Shutterstock and a Getty, then you can use the functionality of similarity search in here right from the panel. You just click on the similarity search button. It gives you the ability to select from different sources. Maybe you're working in an agency and one of your Adobe stock is customer A account and the other one is customer B account. You decide on which one you want to use. I'm using the Shutterstock one. And then you immediately get the result of all the assets which are in Shutterstock available for that selected image. And as I did it in my last demo, it doesn't work with Shutterstock because they don't have Lamborghinis. Let us go to Adobe. We're looking into the Adobe database, and now we get everything what Adobe recognized as a car and is greenish. And now we can just filter it down and say, yep, but it should be a car, but now I don't want to have green anymore. I would like to have everything what is, let's say, more or less yellow. Now it selects all the yellow assets, and then you can just drag that in here. Very, very simple. Takes a second to download. There it is. And now we place that in here. Okay, let us go back to our Pimcore system. Here you can update that if you think it's more comfortable not to have that light table view, but a list view. You can also get all the results in the certain areas as a list. And if you think there are more useful informations in that list which you would like to see, you just go to the settings and select what kind of informations you would like to see in your list. And actually everything what we have selected on the Pimcore side will be available to fill that list. And if you click on the header, you can sort that automatically by the content of that column. So it's very simple to navigate in the system and to use all the assets in there. There is an additional functionality. Let me click on the link button. One of the things which is very common in the agency is that you like to work with high-res or low-res images, or that you would like to exactly know what kind of asset am I using in my system, and do I have it in my Pimcore system. And here we have a neat function. You just click on the link button, and it, in this case, gives you automatically all the informations about the used assets and gives you the info that asset is on page 1 and it's in my Pimcore system. And now I would like to switch from my original version to my low-res version or to a different rendition. I just click on that, say OK, and it will automatically switch now the version from my high-res version, which I've used previously, to my low-res version in just a single click on that, and change that. And this you can do for a single image, or you can do that with one click for all the assets within the document. That's very simple. And if there would be a newer version in the Pimcore system, because one of your colleagues has changed that Miura to a different color or has retouched the headlamps, you would automatically get an information that there is a newer version available and would ask you if you would like to use this one within your InDesign document. And you just push a button and that image would get updated automatically. Yeah, this is a very short overview on some of the functionalities. And as that is a deep dive, it would be amazing if you have questions, and I can answer more of these questions. Am I alone? Hello? I hate that stuff. Hello?
Andreas, we can still hear you.
Okay, but I can't see anything or hear something, or do you see my screen?
Yes, we see your screen. All's fine.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Good. Are there questions, or is it?
Yeah, there are questions actually.
Okay.
One of the questions was, what if an asset gets updated in Pimcore side or wherever? Is that updated automatically then in the InDesign file? Is there a link? Or, to be honest,
Yes.
I don't know this, the answer to that question either.
Okay, yeah, it is updated.
Oh, cool.
So between the InDesign file and the Pimcore system, there is a direct remote link. That remote link is something like a URL link. And if that asset on the Pimcore side would be changed, you would get a warning and an information that there is a newer asset available and would ask you if you want to update it. It's not updated automatically. It would always give you an information and ask you if it does it update.
Okay, cool. Then, yeah, I just read that my webcam seems to be gone away. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see me either. As long as you can hear me, that's the most important.
We can hear you. Yeah.
There is, let's see what other questions we have. The other question is, can you please show the Word integration? Do you have this up and running on your system, or any kind of Microsoft integration? I think this would be something great.
Yeah, I don't have it in my Word, but because I normally always use my PowerPoint. Here's my PowerPoint.
It looks quite the same as in Word.
Yeah, to be honest, the Word integration does deliver a little bit more on functionality, but in the end, it's more or less the same. So I'm in my PowerPoint. I can now also create a connection to my Pimcore system. It works exactly the same. I just log into here. I type in my token. It creates the connection. Connection is there. Here is my Pimcore system. And let me switch to English. Now I can just browse my Pimcore content as I would do in the other ones. I go to my car images. I go to my Lamborghini. And I drag and drop that image into my PowerPoint. I can now change it in here, like that one. And maybe I would like to take some of the metadata from in here. So I can just drag and drop everything in the same way as I did it in the other products. And it also works in Outlook. And in Outlook, it does it in two ways. So you can drag your assets from the Pimcore system to Outlook. And if the system is supporting it, you can automatically add any mail attachment to the connection you have selected. So that's very simple.
Oh, cool. And another question that is in the chat is it possible to define templates? I guess this is more again applying to InDesign and to fill the data then out of the Pimcore elements into these templates?
Yeah. In general, we support snippets. So what you could do is you could just select this and this and this frame, and you can save these three as a snippet into the system, and then automatically drag and drop that snippet into a new InDesign document. What we are not doing in the moment is automatically populating content. We do see this is more a question for a catalog production system. That's actually not what we intend to be, but you will see a couple of automation functionalities in the next version, which helps do a lot of creation in a more automatic way. Yeah.
And then there is one more question. It's now back again in terms of updates. When assets update, the question is there also notification when textual content gets updated? So when any meta information or something like that is updated?
Not yet, but this is some feature that will also come.
Okay, cool. It looks really great. So are there well, one more question is there, I see. What's about filling tables with object data? Is that somehow? Yeah. So it's very similar to, I guess, to this snippets thing.
Yeah, exactly. You just drag and drop the content to the table. Yeah, and then the table will be filled with the content from the Pimcore system. Yes, that works.
Okay, cool. Are there any other questions I have maybe missed now or just didn't see? Silence is there. So no other questions.
Okay.
Do you have anything you want to show us, Andreas? And anything else? Any cool feature or so?
Yeah. What you also can do, sure, if you have created your InDesign document with your Pimcore content, you can easily share it with a Dropbox to your colleagues. Yeah. Or what will also come in the next version is you will automatically see if you have all the appropriate rights for all of these assets you're using for a certain purpose. So there's a lot of stuff coming. You will also find the ability to see your workflow tasks in the plugin. But there are a couple of things which will be delivered beginning of next year. So that's a good overview, I would say.
Yeah, cool. It's really cool feature you have there and a cool system. And I think this integration is something really great.
Actually, I have one thing to add. It's very simple to test it. Just go to the Adobe store or to the Microsoft store. You can just download it. You create your CI Hub ID, and you can try it for 30 days without any further cost. Just download, install, connect to your Pimcore system if you have the Enterprise Edition, and play around with it. We also, I know there are a lot of partners in the room. We have a very sophisticated partner sales program and training program. So everyone within your community who would like to know how it works or what are the benefits for the customers, there is, we call it the Sales Club. Just register for the Sales Club and you get a free version to demo it or to play around with it or to support it or to consult it. So it's all prepared for all of you.
Yeah, cool. And you also have a booth at the expo section in this.
Yes.
So everybody who has additional questions, you can ask them there. And
absolutely.
yeah, I think we are pretty much at the end of our time.
Perfect.
So Andreas, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Really cool feature, and I'm looking forward to many cool stuff that is generated with this.
Perfect. I'm happy to help opening that amazing PIM content into the whole organization. We do think that there is a big need. Yeah, we see that large customers want to have access to there, and instead of purchasing an additional DAM system with your new version, it's all there.
we see it the same way. Indeed. Okay. Thank you, Andreas. Have a nice day.
Enjoy.